Welcome to Realty and More web series.
Thank you.
It's an initiative by Realty and More magazine and ICCPL. The COVID-19 outbreak lays open to question our preparedness for a medical emergency, which is not only impacting our lives, but also the economy and businesses. The real estate sector in India too has been severely impacted. Today, we are going to discuss the impact on the office spaces segment. With us today is a panel of industry stalwarts. We are joined by Nimish Gupta, MD South Asia RICS, Sanjay Chatrat, MD North Korea's International, Salil Kumar, Director Asotech Realty, Khairul Nisa Shah, ED World Trade Center, and from media we have Manavendra Jha, Assistant Editor PTI. We will be very shortly joined by a few other guests. So let me start by asking to the lady on the panel. Khair, how is it working from home? Much more relaxed?
Not at all. I mean, for me, it has been personally, it's been a real shocker because my day usually used to be face-to-face interactions and a lot of travel. So this lockdown brought in change in both these aspects, the face-to-face interactions and traveling. So the new normal for me has been connecting to people through webinars, using a lot of digital, and but now for me it's becoming more of the phone rather than it's video calls, Zooms, webinars, MS Team. So I've become more tech savvy, and I feel that the earlier traveling, me being mostly at the airport, almost knowing all the guards at the Gujarat, Ahmedabad airport, Delhi airport, irrespective of T3, T1. Now I prefer, not traveling and getting connected to people from home. It's been challenging, but it's been good. But a lot of things required work from home also, because we do not have timelines. I'm working at various odd hours, considering that I am also a board member of the World Trade Center Association. So this COVID brought in also that all of the World Trade Center network together. So we started working on various initiatives during this pandemic to help each other and get the network more closer. So have been working on different timelines. So digitally, that has really helped. Work from home has helped that aspect.
We are also joined by Amrendra Shukla, National Head Sales, OLX India. Now, the first question is, what kind of pressure in rentals and demand is expected in the commercial office segment now that work from home is becoming a new normal? Do you think occupiers are going to be honored, or will the occupiers revisit their expansion plans?
Should I answer this, or you're asking?
Yeah, to you.
Okay. See, to be very honest, a lot of people are talking about work from home, and the new normal. There are definitely going to be some changes which are going to happen, but they're not going to be drastic changes. Maybe for temporary changes, but not long-lasting changes. I don't foresee them. I've been hearing in the news, and a lot of advisories and consultants have been saying that there are going to be rental corrections, and there are going to be renewal of contracts and stuff like that. We in the World Trade Center fraternity, especially in India, we've not seen that. I mean, nobody has come to us, no client, except for in retail. Yes, in retail, we are seeing that corrections happening, but in office space, we are not seeing anybody who's come to us for restructuring or revisiting, our contracts. I've not seen that so far, anybody coming to us. We have, the lockdown has been for us as much as it has been for the office, or for that matter, like Vivo is an assembly line, so wherein their production is impacted, but they've not come for restructuring. In maintenance, yes, we have given them some concessions, but then that is what was required, because we were not working and providing them with maintenance on an optimal level. We were providing them as per the norms. So we've accordingly subsidized it. But I have not seen the impact. People are talking about it, but I'm not seeing. Sanjay, I believe, would be in a better position because he deals with a lot of corporates of varied segments. So probably Sanjay could throw light on that.
Sure.
Sanjay, coming to you, Sanjay. See, last few years have been phenomenal for the commercial real estate segment, especially for the office spaces segment. In 2019, I believe we have seen 40 million square feet space getting absorbed. Now, the trend is definitely going to get impact with COVID. Tell me how much the impact will be, how much severely will the segment will feel the heat.
So thanks, Palash and Khair. I think to begin with, Palash, don't really see any near sort of downward movement in commercial rents. Market is very strong. It's been driven with pre-commitments, and there's a lot of demand, for office space. Now, there was about 50 odd million square feet of absorption in 2019, and I think similar numbers in 2018 as well across India. So it was a very strong and very robust sort of leasing activity across India. What we foresee is that demand might get down to about anywhere in the range of about 40 to 45 million square feet. So that might be an impact purely because we've lost almost like a quarter, from March till about June, right? The decision making's slowed down. There's a huge impact obviously in North America and Europe and other countries. So the decision making has slowed down. So again, to answer your question, yes, this year the pace will slow down. The absorption will come down, by maybe about a 10% odd, a little bit more. But as Khair said, the rental and the same will actually happen with supply as well, because the construction is going to be getting delayed, right? Because the labor issues, because of these restrictions. So the supply that we were supposed to see this year, that's also going to get restricted. So to answer your question again, I think may not have a large impact on the rental values. There might be some flexibility with the landlords where the markets are landlord favorable, where the vacancy levels are high. The developers might be a little more flexible in terms of offering a better favorable terms. But at a macro level, at high level, we don't see any really just rental impact or the rentals going downwards in the markets there.
So can we expect more, Sanjay, to you only, can we expect more of lease rent discounting?
See, it depends on, there have been, again, Palash, so it's difficult times, and we were having these discussions on other webinars and other events as well. These are difficult times for pretty much all sectors, for all businesses. And everybody's got impacted in some way or the other, be it small, medium or large occupiers, everybody's got impacted. So yes, there will be certain requests coming from occupiers to developers, to landlords in terms of restructuring the leases, in terms of some requests coming on the waivers, on deferments and restructuring, etc. I think purely what we could understand, it's more of a cash flow issue, where the large occupiers or the tenants would want to just make sure that at least they take care of the cash flows for next 3-4 months. So yeah, again, to answer your question, there will be restructuring, there will be requests, and you will see a lot of trends moving forward where the businesses which are largely impacted, they will take some decisions on either sort of downsizing their office portfolio, purely because I think the model is changing, moving ahead. So gone are the days when you'll see large companies coming and saying we want to consolidate under one roof. I don't think so. That's going to happen moving forward. The industry is more moving towards flex and cores, moving towards more like a hub and spoke model where they want to have multiple offices. They want to have flexibility to work from home. They have flexibility. They want flexibility to work from a co-working operator with a co-working office. So you will see, the model and even the space requirements changing, down the line. But yeah, you'll see these trends in the next 4 to 6 months in the second half where the clients will come back and say, please, we want to save costs. The business has been impacted. How can you strategize a portfolio? How can you add value? How can you relocate us to maybe a more economical and a cost-effective locations? So yeah, these are the requests that you'll start seeing in next few months once we back to work.
Salil, coming to you, work from home has been experimented in the last 50 odd days or so, and it has met with it has been reasonably successful. So, you think this is going to be the new norm, and work from home is a sustainable model in the long term, and thereby impacting into a lower office absorption capacities?
That's a good question, Palash. There are contrary views. You must have seen recently, like big company has said, ki so many lakhs worker we shall be doing on a work from home basis, and that's going to be new norm. But as per my belief, this is an adjustment at the moment that lot many companies are preferring work from home, which is a very, very temporary phenomena. Number one, because during the work from home, what I have seen, I have spoken to various top legendary people from this industry, the efficiency of the people drastically come down. Number two, for a bright people, this is not an good option to work from home. Like once you grow, you like to have a big car, you want to have a flashy lifestyle, you want to buy a good apparel brands and several other things. Like one work to work from a very like a good flashy office and very decent office. Once this COVID phenomena gets down, when the vaccination comes and post-COVID era, this will come that people will note that the efficiency of the working is comparatively coming very low as compared to working from a good office. Your efficiency comes very, very good. When you come from a very decent office, you feel very positive, and total productivity also goes up. So my view is very, very clear. At the moment, this is an adjustment. And in various like BPO and IT companies, you see like 50 or 60% of their employee at the managerial level, they stay together. Like one guy, two guys stay in the same room as a paying guest or in co-living. And if they are spending their 24 hours in the same room, so their productivity and energy level goes down. So looking at these various factors, work from home is a very, very temporary phenomena until this vaccination comes down, or the moment COVID graph goes down, people will come back to and look for a very decent office. This is my view.
May I add here to what Salil is actually saying? There are only certain services or departments in offices which can actually opt for work from home. The entire probably 20 to 30% of office space of a company or an organization could probably look at work from home. Not all the organization would be looking at work from home. IT has been experimenting. ITs companies have been experimenting with work from home, but on a rotation or a hot desk basis. So it's not a complete work from home, 100% work from home kind of a scenario, which even the ITs companies opt for.
We have been getting lots of questions from the viewers who are watching, but before coming to that, I would like to take one questions each from all our panelists. Now we are talking about normalcy returning. Nimish, coming back to you, when the lockdown ends, there are different protocols which are to be followed by the companies and the employees in terms of social distancing, health and hygiene practices. You think our developers are prepared enough to handle those, and we can resume to a full-fledged office atmosphere like before?
Palash, I'll pick up where Khair started our interaction today morning, wherein she said that the governments are actually proactively looking at not only enabling a business ecosystem, but actually ensuring that the guidelines are given. So even if a developer is lacking some of its own creative thought process or own approach in identifying what is to be done with his space, I think more or less people and very large companies in the public interest have started issuing their own manuals and guidebooks in terms of identifying what an entity should do when they'll have to reopen the offices. So I think in terms of the intellectual capital which is required for any person to start reopening their offices, I don't think they will have to depend on their own internal captive thought process or internal intellectual capital. It is available in the entire world right now. Professional bodies like ourselves, RICS, has also been issuing those statements on what should be done. Large organized businesses will go through a proper risk assessment profile. They will ensure that they do carry out a complete risk management. They carry out a complete risk management approach before they start opening up the offices. Whether areas related to facilities management, whether areas related to basically doing a kind of rolling roles for the employees. So whether 30%, 40% shift mechanism, so on and so forth. I think this will be basically dependent on every organization's philosophy and processes which are important for them to follow. Manufacturing operations will have to start immediately, and I'm sure a lot of it has already started with the recent relaxation in the lockdowns. I do believe that they will have to continue working with strict monitoring and control processes through their administration and facility management approach. So all in all, Palash, I do believe in terms of the approach to open up businesses, I don't think that's a difficulty for anyone. There is enough material available. There is enough knowledge available right now from the global leading houses, including the leading IPCs also, who have written guidelines. Plus, the government itself is not leaving any stones unturned, whether it is central government or state governments or the local urban local bodies, in making sure that these guidelines are given in crisp and clear format so that the businesses can follow this.
Ramesh, thanks. I'll just add a point here, and as you rightly brought out, a lot of large organizations and occupiers, they're really just working on these toolkits, and I think the important part is that how you're getting the workforce back to work. I think that's the most important part, and I think a lot of large organizations are working that, and we actually at Qualys are also working on a toolkit now. It's called Back to Work Navigator. So basically, just now, either it's for occupiers or for developers, it actually just focuses on 5 key areas, which is the design of your office, technology, navigation, communication and behavior, and then hygiene and cleaning. So these are the broad 5 areas where this toolkit is developed on, and just trying to educate most of the employees that how to adhere to everything, so that you don't face any challenges moving ahead once you're back at workplace. And again, just to add to what Khair and Salilji said, I think the world's not going to be the same on what it was. So you will definitely see that people will be forced to, certain percentage of people or employees will be forced to work from home. Now we're starting with a 33%. It might go up, but to ensure that there's flexibility, to ensure there is a BCP planning, etc. done, most of the large players are now just planning this model where it has to be multiple offices, it has to be a certain part of your employees have to work from home, so that you don't really get into the risk areas where you are today. So just to add to what you said, Nimish, thanks.
Thanks.
Amrendra, what kind of listing trends in terms of property we are witnessing now on OLX? Are people desperate to sell, or what is the trend in real estate on OLX right now?
So the content has dropped drastically, Palash. I mean, the content on any of the advertising platform have been dropped by almost 40-50%. Because the priorities of selling and buying has been changed in the last 40-45 days. I mean, it was a very good phenomena that was happening, that most of the small ticket size commercial properties was getting listed and a lot of residential housing was getting listed on the platform. We were looking at some sort of a upward trend in this financial year. But in the last 45 days, I mean, OLX being a multinational brand operating across 40 odd countries, and the story is almost same all across the globe, that the content on the platform has been reduced by 40-45%.
Okay. Salil, coming to you,
Okay.
how much pressure on the demand are you expecting in the office spaces segment?
Oh,
Is the demand going to be intact the same way, or you think it's a temporary phenomena?
yeah. See, the thing is, like Sanjay said, there will be pressure on the new demand as well. Because if you see the construction phenomena, there will be pressure on raw material, there will be restricted moments, and there will be cash flow issues. Because of these various issues, the construction at various new supplies will also be deferred. At the same time, that's a very interesting phenomena is happening. If you have seen some of the architectural webinars, the current size of IT industries, the space occupied by the each person is around 50-55 square feet. With the social distancing norm, this space is going to be around 100-110 square feet in the coming era. Whether I mean pre-COVID or post-COVID, the new norms, the cabin size is going to be the bigger. You have a larger canteen you have got to make, and special cell you have got to make, emergency rooms you have got to make, and corridors are to be wider. There will be so many new norms. So accordingly, as per my calculation, if company is opting for a say 1 lakh square feet pre-COVID era, post-COVID era they will be taking around 1.6, 1.7 lakh square feet. So looking at to these calculation, there's a very interesting, Sanjay, you also note that everybody will have a large requirement. So of course, I am against this work from home culture, because this is really going to give a very less efficiency, because you have issue when you get up and spend 8-9 good hours at the company. Whereas if you are at home, your work efficiency goes down drastically. You have got to make various things at home, and your energy level is also not as high. That's why I'm supporting. So in my view, post-COVID, when companies have to have a larger area as per the social distancing norm and as per the regular norm, all architectural, I have spoken to many people, they say as per the new norm, you have to have at least 100 square feet or 95 square feet per person, compared to the 50-55, which is currently prevailing in various IT and BPO companies. So looking at these norms, I don't think post-COVID there will be any downfall. In fact, I'm predicting, because new supply will be deferred and new norms will be getting more areas, so you will have a better requirement of the office spaces post-COVID era. This is my calculations.
Manvendra, you have been meeting various developers in the segment, and you have been speaking to lots of IPCs as well. What's your take on the entire thing? And if you would like to ask anything to any of our panelists?
The impact will be much. I don't agree with Sanjay sir that impact will be only 10%, because there are huge job losses happening across the sector. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
So there are huge job losses happening across the sector, and already we have lost first half of this year. So I think 10% is too low. Impact will be much higher. And already one large IT company has already announced that 75% of their staff will work from home over the next 5 years. As far as what Salil sir said, that the requirement of office space per person will increase, but it will be very difficult for the companies to, on the existing projects, it will be very difficult to change the floor plate structure now. Maybe in the new upcoming projects it will happen. I would like to ask from Sanjay sir, what will be the impact on co-working, because only few players are backed by large real estate companies like WeWork or CoWork. Most of the other co-working players are startups and dependent on the month-to-month revenue. So what will be the impact on co-working?
Right. Thanks, Manvinder. And I'll just add, Manvinder, what I said was, the absorption is going down from a 50 million square feet, what we saw last year, to about anywhere in the range of between 40 to 45. The reason I said that because there are a lot of large pre-commitments which have already been done in the first quarter, right? And whatever the discussions that we're having with the occupiers, they're still going ahead with these kind of their plans. So they're not shelving their plans or they're not dropping it out. But yeah, you're right. There will be an impact on the new take-ups. Where the business is not clear what the impacts are, and they have their plans and they might defer it to next year. But there are a lot of large pre-commitments where it's already signed, sealed, and they want to just go ahead with the plans, and they're not sort of relooking at that at the moment. So on your co-working thing, Manvinder, again, I think there's obviously the sector's largely hit, if you ask me. The collections have really gone down since March till date, and there's a lot of slowdown now. You'll see a lot of slowdown in the space take-ups. The formats will change. A lot of the new players who are getting into the speculative space and they're just committing on spaces, hoping that the demand is high. Obviously, they'll fill the centers. That will not happen anymore. So most of the co-working players have started, getting into more enterprise in a back-to-back solution where they have tenants and they're just basically doing back-to-back solutions for them, where their revenues and their inflows are short. So that's what most of the co-working players are now looking at. No more speculation. Secondly, you will also see a lot of consolidation happening, Manvinder. A lot of these smaller players, who have these cash flow and the liquidity issues, they will be looking at, joining hands with the larger players. Also, you'll see these consolidations much sooner than later, what we predicted, once we're back at work. So, but to answer your question, yes, co-workings, if all businesses have got impacted, co-workings got impacted, and especially with these social distancing norms. You can imagine, if a co-working space is working on a 60 to 70 square feet per person, suddenly, it's gone about 120. So their cost per seat, either they demand a higher cost per seat or they have to just sort of rework on their plans. So there's a big hit. And then this is what you're going to see moving ahead.
Manvin,
so because of the pre-commitment, one thing I wanted to clarify, because of the pre-commitment, the impact will not be seen much this year, maybe next year?
No, so the impact, what I mean by what I want to say from pre-commitments is that the projects which were supposed to be completed this year again, Manvinder, and they were supposed to deliver where, the pre-commitments were already done. Right, and we still think that the projects are on the verge, and they will get their occupancy certificates, or the buildings are getting completed this year. So those occupiers are still going ahead with their plans. So we haven't heard any large occupier or space takeout where they've cancelled those contracts and said that we don't want the space anymore. But yeah, in the new space take-ups where there was a new demand that was projected, forecasted by us, there is going to be a significant drop. So from a 50 million across India, it comes down to almost like 40, which is actually just almost like a 25%, actually not a 10%. But yeah, so that's where the contraction is where you're going to see. But again, these are more forecasted numbers that we're projecting at the moment.
But Sanjay, at the same time, you will see spike in pharma sector, BPOs, you will see spike in FMCG sectors. These other sectors will compensate the loss of other industry like banking and other. Even I feel banking will not be much affected. So like your banking, fast mover consumer goods, your pharma sector, all these BPO will have additional demands.
So Salji, again, what I said earlier, everybody is working on a contingency plan at the moment, and everybody's working on their business continuity plans. Now they cannot, so they have to take space, they have to work in the office, they have to, that everything will continue.
No.
But the quantum of the space will go down because they want to just make sure that they work in more a flex in a core model. So therefore your absorption levels as of what we can forecast today will go down. It cannot be at the same levels. You know, down the line, maybe after 12 months or 18 months, we have the vaccine, you know, everything is back to normal. Then we might see the demands again going up. But in an immediate 6 to 12 months, you will see that companies will start sort of planning their portfolios, their businesses in a very different manner, in a very different way, so that if there is any crisis again of this sort, they have some backup plan already.
I would add to Sanjay, what Sanjay is saying, that what we are observing is a lot of build to suit options coming our way. We're getting a lot of such queries. So immediately, yes, there could be an impact, but in times to come, we are seeing that companies are planning in fact, their requirements are also changed. Like say for data centers, we are seeing their requirements changing. For BCP centers, we are seeing their requirements changing. But we are seeing a lot of such queries coming our way.
Even in co-working space, I think there is an opportunity over there. By trying to identify some large spaces, there will be a challenge. But if you actually try and promote, if let's say we just talked about, Manvin just talked about a large IT company saying 75% of their staff will work from home. If their homes do not allow that kind of infrastructure, you might want to have some sporadic, decentralized, smaller co-working spaces, which allows these people to work from there. So possibly another model, which is basically walk to work kind of a concept, could actually be a great business model for some of these co-working players as well.
So Nimish, carrying forward to what you said, in terms of companies and employees, will those employees who have a better infrastructure at home in terms of internet connectivity, laptop, desktop, will they be preferred to be retained in their company? Can that kind of a scenario arise?
No. It is. I mean, it is like Palash. You're saying that we will send a person with a weapon in his hand, but he does not know. I mean, he has got the most sophisticated weapon, but he cannot fight in the battle. So you have to have the attitude and aptitude, plus the infrastructure, all working together. To be honest with you, in terms of while Salil did say that there were challenges in productivity norms, I did see a highly increased productivity in people who were working at RICS. Personally, as Khair herself has said, I also love to engage with people, network with people. So I personally might not be very happy just working from home, but I've seen a different productivity levels with few employees. Having said that, this does not apply to every business. Every business has got its own dynamics. And this is the reason one statement may not fit all. One approach may not fit all. It has to be taken and an assessment needs to be carried out by the business leaders for the business model which they have and can work. IT businesses can run, but manufacturing businesses won't run. Sales businesses won't run. Anything which is to do with e-commerce. You will not have drones supplying your e-commerce good right now. You still will have e-commerce being done by the logistics agencies the way it is working. So I think every organizations will have to look at their business model according to their strength of business model and weaknesses as well, try and identify what works best for them.
Nimish, this is a very temporary phenomena. Let's take a standard phenomena time. This is like a COVID time is a lockdown, official lockdown. You can't go out. So you can perform better under forced circumstances. I'm talking about open circumstances. Given a chance, would not like to work from home because most of the people is staying in 2-bedroom room, then your one room is occupied for 24 hours almost. And AC has to run all the time.
I'll tell you why I was saying that, Salil. Because of the change, and especially I'm talking about possibly NCR over here. The women employee will have to take special care of their securities, and at times they will have to not at times they will have to leave the businesses, leave the office premises at about 6:30 always to make sure that they reach in time. But today I think they have been able to accommodate themselves according to their flexible own times, and I actually give a lot of respect to what they're trying to do. They're trying to multitask between their families and other things. They're still able to perform. Some of them are working late in night because they believe that their family chores get over. They can work till 11:30, which I won't be able to facilitate them when they are working from the offices. So again, as I said, Salil, while it is a temporary situation, I understand, but new normals, new opportunities could be identified from this. And I'm not saying that everyone will work from home. I think large part of it, as you said, roughly around 70-80% of the businesses will possibly come back to normalcy, with some of their functions being mandated to work from home. But there will be still few businesses which will possibly identify a newer way of doing business.
See, lockdown is a luxury. Lockdown was a luxury, and a lot of companies were not prepared for the lockdown. The infrastructure. I mean, I had a lot of my people, my CRM team, who did not have the laptops, or would work on desktops. I had to make arrangements during the lockdown to ensure that they would be working. So the business continuity is an important aspect, and a lot businesses would need change. Rather than work from home, it's the corporate's business attitude which is going to go for a change. With work from home, your HRs are going to change, your complete HR policies are going to change, your OPEX cost of a corporate is going to change, because if work from home is going to become the new norm, corporates have to ensure that the employees have the right infrastructure, right from the data availability or digital connectivity to the infrastructure, the laptop, and it is available to them. So a lot of restructuring. It's not just the restructuring of people working from home, but also the policies of the corporate is also going to undergo a lot of change.
Absolutely, Khair. We will expect to see a lot of fortunes being built for business process re-engineering people right now, who will try and identify what can be done right now in the change times. And let me be honest with you over here. I don't think any one of us should be in a bit of dilemma over here that there could be a possibility of second wave. And whatever we are talking about is as of today. We haven't seen the bottom of the crisis also as of today. And I'm talking about as of today, by the way. There is an approach wherein we want to basically live with the philosophy of Jaan hai, Jaan bhi and Jahan bhi, and which is actually important, because if you don't actually try and resurrect your economic activities, country will have a huge setback. So while we will have to live with this, we also will have to live with the challenges it brings to us. If we are looking at a second wave, which might come through, and I don't know how bad will that be. If we try and take an example of Spanish flu in 1918, the second wave was possibly more dangerous than the first wave. So that's where it is extremely important. People have still not been able to identify what works with this virus and what does not. What is the possible treatment? All of that is still a kind of a bit of guesswork. There is no article which says whether genes are making India a favorable country, while Portugal and Spain are completely at loggerheads, those reactions, or if the BCG vaccine is making an impact over here. We still have no concrete answers on what is working over here. So that's the reason trying to identify what will work immediately may not be the best solution. But as Khair said, we will have to have an approach towards business process re-engineering to try and identify how well you can work in these black swan events. And this crisis, if it continues for long, or if there is a second wave, our risk management appetite be far more enhanced.
Absolutely, Nimish. I think, as I said earlier, I think the flexibility and agility is extremely important. I mean, especially in these times, and there's some learning to be done from China. Where if you really see, and as you rightly said, it's a second wave, and China has seen that as well, somewhat in one. But the demand for office spaces is really sort of increasing in China. We've been getting a lot of, we've been getting on calls with Asia leaders, and there's a lot of demand which is coming back now, especially in the office sector. I think one thing is very, very clear and obvious, whether a second wave or not. All occupiers or developers, everybody has to adopt technology. I think that's one of the most important part, and build data capabilities to really enable to work remotely. Again, this is extremely, extremely important to make sure that if there's any crisis again that we face in future, at least there's a backup plan in place.
Sanjay, we have seen employee space per employee space is getting reduced over the last 1 decade. say from about 150 to 200 square feet to, as Salil was saying, it has come down to 50 square feet per space per employee. Now, now we might see a reversal of trend. Will that mean reducing average revenue per seat for the developers?
See, to be honest, again, there are two things. Again, I'll just add to, I think Salil, you already answered that, but my personal opinion here is there are two things. There are businesses and their occupiers who can continue to afford the workspace, the space that they have at the moment. And automatically when there is a 30 or a 50 or 70% employee base in the office, and rest working from home, automatically your space per square footage per person goes up. So automatically they're getting more space, and your social distancing is taken care of. So that is one of the things. But the second is that the businesses which are now cost sensitive, again, as I said, they are looking at relocating to more economical, peripheral locations where they can save on cost, despite even incurring the capex. The cost really goes down. For example, if I just take an example of Gurgaon, your rents are almost like 125 rupees today in Cyber City. Now, the moment you move outside Cyber City, your rent drops down to almost like a 50 rupees in off CBD markets. Even after doing your capex, spending about 70, 75 bucks. So yes, this is going to be a new normal where you'll have to make sure your employee hygiene is taken care of. You want to make sure that, the social distancing is there. And at the same time, how do you save cost? So it may not necessarily mean that occupier or tenants coming back to you and saying that today, because just my space requirements have gone up because of the COVID situation, I need suddenly double the space. That will not happen. And therefore, all the more important that they start looking at these flexible, working models. Make a hub, move to the peripheral locations where you can, where the business is not, these are not core businesses, and the backup operations can go to the peripheral locations. Maybe just operate a certain part, as Nimish said, closer to your home in a co-working center. Maybe have some population working from home. So these flexibilities are extremely, extremely important. But again, to answer your question, not necessarily means that just because there's social distancing and, we need about 125 to 150 square feet per person, companies will come back and say that, give me double the space. That will not happen.
Sanjay sir.
May I add here, one trend that which we are observing in WTC is that the companies which are coming to us for office space are actually looking at an integrated development. They're looking at if they have the, in the primary catchment of 1 to 2 kilometers, if they have the residential quarters to live, apartments to live, whether the work from home would be, if they could walk to work is there. So they're looking at those aspects, which earlier they were not stressing upon. But we are seeing a lot of such companies which have been asking us about the availability of apartments, are looking at the availability of retail, are looking at convenience of their employees, so that they could actually have a complete campus of their own from where they would their offices be. And yes, adding to what Sanjay said, that locations which are more sensitive to price, that they are looking at I wouldn't say cheaper locations, but they're definitely looking at optimizing their cost. So while there are some companies which are understanding that work from home would become the new norm, not entirely in complete totality, but yes, so that means the OPEX cost for the company is going to increase. They are looking at a lower rentals. They are definitely looking at that.
Sanjay sir.
Yeah, Manvendra, you asking something?
Sanjay sir, just want to ask one question.
Yes,
in India, office demand has been driven by outsourcing of jobs from particularly US market. Do you see any threat on that aspect?
Oh, absolutely, Manvendra. So, this is more like a global crisis, and there's a big impact especially our clients in North America and the US or Canada or the Europes. They're actually just, again, everybody is more into a wait and watch mode. The decision making has slowed down. They just want to, actually, nobody knows what the, once the lockdown's over, that's when you really assess what the impact on your businesses are, and how things will pan out, what your clients are thinking. Because even the clients today don't know. So if you're talking, so I'll just give you an example. We do a large consolidation for one of our US clients, and everything was done. It was almost on the verge of execution, but now suddenly their business are impacted, and in US and Europe, and everybody is just re-looking at their plans. So it might not mean that they'll take the entire 100% of the space that they were taking earlier. That might drop down to a 50, 60 or 70%. But they're definitely going, what I'm trying to say is they're definitely going ahead with the plans. They know that this is what they want to do, but they don't really know what the impact has been on the business in India, globally. And that's more of the planning mode. But again, to answer your question, absolutely, it will make a large impact because the businesses are impacted in US, are impacted in Europe. And because of that, the clients are again rethinking their strategies on how they want to work in India, how they want to take this forward, what it means for them. So yeah, so a lot of discussions happening around that, Manvendra.
I have to add to Sanjay, Manvendra, see, two things will happen. One, there will be gap of around 6 months in execution of all previous dealings. I don't foresee that they will cancel out their, or they will abort their operations of future. There will be gap of 3 to 6 months in execution of their plan. It should not be more than 6-7 months in totality. Plus, point number two, like you see, like Yogi ji has inviting many big companies from China and various US companies and other European companies who are based in China. They want to move out and want to settle in India or Vietnam, depending on their preferences. So I'm hoping that we'll get at least 40-50% share out of the China's relocations of various companies. So we'll have additional demand after 6-7 months, which will give robust input to the demand of office spaces, which is surely going to happen. So it's a question of 3 to 6 months. There will be gap. There will be subdued demand. Then there will be many demands coming in. That is for sure.
If I can add to that, Manvendra, and what Salil just said, and I think while we are looking at a doomsday scenario, but that's only from a short-term perspective. From a long-term perspective, if you actually speak to many of these international agencies or who are looking at what they should reinvent their business as, they were continuing to do their business the way they were running it. There was never a thought process where they would look at their capital expenditures or operational expenditures. This crisis has given them an opportunity to review their business processes. This crisis have actually asked them to look very precisely and surgically into their operating cost, which is where I believe in the longer term, the outsourcing approach to India would actually increase. In the short term, as Sanjay said, there will be a deeper impact because most of the people would like to conserve their cash. Nobody wants to part with their capex or for that matter, increase their opex.
We are also joined by Vijay Verma, CEO of Sunworld. Vijayji, welcome to the show. Vijayji, I would like to ask you.
Thank you. Thank you.
What kind of impact have you still now? Are you witnessing on your properties, both residential and especially commercial property of yours? Are there cancellations? What kind of pressure that you are witnessing post lockdown?
No, presently we are not facing as such any impact from the buyer side. We are not going to you can say yet we have not received any such type of query from our customers. Basically, we are involved in group housings. Within the group housing, there are limited commercial spaces. Those are in the form of convenient shops. But as far as overall impact is concerned of this pandemic, as I analyze, yes, no doubt, it will impact as far as this webinar is concerned, it is oriented to the only this commercial space. As I am visualizing, yes, commercial will have effect of this pandemic over its location as well as orientation and internal configuration of the internal office spaces. Like one of our friend have mentioned, walk to work. Yes, this will be a good choice and good initiative, as last year our Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji have launched the Fit India mission or movement, and internal approach of the government will be to sanction mixed project where the residents will get their walk to work options for to perform their office commitments as well professional commitments. And technology, actually technology will supplement. Actually, I was thinking this webinar is a ultimately outcome of this disruption. Ultimately, I joined this webinar from my car due to technological advancement. Otherwise, for this event, the organizer may have been booked some space, some fixed some venues and all. So then technology will supplement, and yes, this as far as office sector is concerned, it will be affected.
Now I'll take some viewers' question.
Yeah.
Sanjay, to you, you think there will be decentralization of offices and offices moving closer to residential zones? That's one of our viewer, Pankaj Jain, is asking.
Right, Palash, I think just spoke about it and I answered as well, but I'll just reiterate. As I said, so, you know, the trends that we'll really see moving here is, you know, all tenants, occupiers, large occupiers are looking at flexibility, agility these days. And absolutely, you will see the trends where, you know, you'll have a large hub and, you know, bases where your employee bases, you might have offices, smaller offices closer to those locations. You might bases, you know, what sector you are, what kind of businesses you're doing. You know, you might have a certain percentage of your employees working out from home. So absolutely, you will see these trends moving ahead. You know, the clients have already started working on that. You know, they've gone to a level where they've already working on this and the plans and strategies are being developed. So absolutely, you'll see that moving ahead.
Khair, since you are also on the WTC Association board, you think for Indian commercial space developers, there will be an opportunity from the global companies, shifting out of China and coming to India? Do you see that a big opportunity for those developers working in this space?
See, there is a great opportunity actually, not only from the, you know, from the companies which are moving out of China, but from Southeast Asia we're seeing. I mean, whether they're American companies or European companies or Japanese companies based out of China. In times to come, we are going to look at such, you know, such moves. If you think that it is going to be immediate, I don't think it's going to be immediate, because such moves are very, very strategic and take a lot of planning. But yes, between 8 to 1.5 years, you would see a lot of companies moving into India. But that's not only because they're looking at an alternate to China, but also because India has a lot to offer to them. India on its own, with virus or without the virus, had a great opportunity to offer to these companies. So they were anyways looking at India, and thanks to our Prime Minister's effort also in promoting India and all the initiatives under Make in India, Digital India.
Yeah.
But what I do definitely see in times to come is that the trend, or how I see this space actually changing, is that localization is going to become the norm. The companies are going to look at a lot of which is going to be getting them closer to their employees, or employees are going to come closer to the office. You know, either ways one would look at it. Agility, of an organization or companies or corporates towards any kind of change. And we saw this pandemic happen suddenly. People were not ready for it. We heard that it can happen to somebody else. It cannot happen to us. And we were proved wrong. So agility of how fast we are going to adapt to it is going to become the second norm for us. Cash is going to be the new king for developers and for corporates. They're going to look at that aspect. So when we are talking about for corporates, they're going to look at reduction of their OPEXs. They're going to look at, and the developer is going to also look at a reduction in their CapExs. So a variable models in place. Earlier we used to have certain leases, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, and for 1 year or short-term leases, we had the business centers or the living spaces. We had certain norms. They're going to go for a lot of change. So these are 4 factors which I think are going to really, really have an impact on the use of the office space in times to come, whether it's for short term or for long term, but it is going to have an impact. And companies who are going to be coming into India are also going to be looking at these aspects. We're already seeing them happening because we are in discussions with many of them, and we are actually seeing that, and we are finding it's a great advantage to have a mixed use development.
Sanjay, have you witnessed in the past 45 days or so that startups are putting a brake onto their expansion plans, or you see that happening in the future?
So, Palash, interestingly, there's no expansion actually last 60 odd days, to be honest with you. We've been talking to a lot of clients. As I again said, none of the clients are really just talking about how they want to grow. Right now is how they want to sustain. That's the point, right? So that's the discussion which is happening with their existing portfolios. They're just again doing assessment of what the impact's going to be on the businesses, etc., and how they really want to just move in the future. But again, to answer your question, no, there's no discussions where any startups or any clients is coming and saying that, we want to just grow. We want more space, we want more seats. The clients, as I said earlier, where they already had plans in place, they already had the business cases approved. They're still going ahead with their plans. They might be getting a little conservative on the take-ups, but they're still going ahead with their plans. But yeah, no additional space or no sort of growth discussion at the moment.
Salil, have we seen any? Your project ABC is one of the hot selling project in Noida. Have you seen any booking amount cancellations or something in the last 45 days or so? Has there been any impact on the collections from your client side?
No, absolutely not. I have not got even a single call for cancellation. Rather, in the absolute period of lockdown in April, our collection had remained very good. People have transferred their amount through RTGS and NEFT at all. So, etc. at all. So, we have been very comfortable, and I did not receive any cancellation call. Rather, people are upbeat that, and I'll tell you one thing, this situation of cash flow is tight with everybody. So even with the smaller offices, the space like 1,000 foot or 700, 500 square feet offices, people will look for a small 2 to 3 months breather for the cash flow. Maybe people will ask for a waiver or a deferment of the rent for these periods. But people want to retain their offices because like in many years, incidentally in last 35 years, people have seen several downfall and upward history. So people know that this is a very temporary phenomena. Once the vaccine basically gets over, the life will be absolute on a very vibrant phase. So people don't want to cancel anything. Like you haven't seen any downfall in housing, any downfall in pricing of commercial real estate of offices or shop or anything. Nothing has fallen. People know very well this is an absolute temporary phase which we will overcome.
In fact, real estate is good investment, considering how the markets were operating. Real estate was one of the best investments that was more stable. It was a great
Yeah.
investment to be in. And I do see that investment in real estate is going to increase.
Given the fact
Man-
that the market had crashed significantly, so you would lose 10% of or 20% of your wealth just in a day. Real estate, to go through that kind of a disaster, it takes years.
Yes, it was more stable. I think it's one of the safest investments to to be offered.
Yeah, having said that, that
Further-
approach of
and fur-
extreme profiteering should go away, and people should look at reasonable profiteering, so that real estate can remain a very sustainable and attractive investment tool.
Manvendra, you agree to what Khair and Nimish are saying, and if you have any questions to ask to them?
No. I have run out of the question.
Yeah.
You have covered
So,
everything.
Lastly, then I'll close the show. Thank you all. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll keep coming to you. Realty web series, an initiative by Realty and More magazine and ICCPL, will be a weekly affair, and we'll try to increase the frequency of the event. Thank you very much for joining.